The year was 629 AD. In the land of Busra, a Muslim envoy carried the message of peace and Islam. But instead of being honored, he was murdered by the Byzantine governor. This act was not just cruelty, it was a declaration of war. When news reached Medina, the Prophet Muhammad gathered the companions. His face was filled with both sorrow and determination. He said, "We will not let the blood of our messenger go unanswered." Thus began the march to Mu'tah. From the streets of Medina, 3,000 Muslim soldiers set forth. They were not armed with the finest armor or golden shields. Their strength was faith. Their hope was paradise. Ahead of them waited the might of the Byzantine Empire. 200,000 men, soldiers in iron, cavalry with banners like waves, a sea of swords and shields. The odds seemed impossible, but the Muslims did not march for numbers. They marched for Allah. The Prophet appointed 3 commanders for this mission, in case each one fell. The first was Zayd ibn Haritha, the beloved adopted son of the Prophet. On the battlefield, Zayd charged fearlessly. His sword clashed with enemy steel until his body was pierced by arrows. He fell, clutching the banner of Islam in his last breath. The army gasped. Their leader was gone. Without hesitation, the banner was lifted by Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, cousin of the Prophet. He rode forward with fire in his heart. When his right arm was cut, he seized the banner with his left. When his left arm was severed, he pressed the banner to his chest, refusing to let it fall. Arrows struck him, spears pierced him, until he too fell as a martyr. Later, the angels would whisper, Ja'far had been given 2 wings in paradise. Now the banner passed to Abdullah ibn Rawaha. For a brief moment, fear touched his heart. He looked at the sea of enemies, then at the believers behind him. He whispered to himself, "Paradise is only a step away." He charged forward, his voice reciting poetry of Jannah, until he too was struck down and joined his brothers in martyrdom. 3 commanders, 3 martyrs. The Muslim army wavered. Some thought of retreat, others feared annihilation. Voices cried, "Who will lead us now?" The banner stood in the dust, waiting for the hand that would lift it again. Then all eyes turned to one man, a warrior whose name struck fear into enemies. A man who had once fought fiercely against Islam at Uhud and at Conquests, but whose heart had embraced the truth. That man was Khalid ibn al-Walid. Khalid rode forward. His voice thundered above the chaos. "By Allah, retreat is not our way. Today is the day of courage." He lifted the banner high. The Muslims roared, their hearts reignited. In that moment, despair turned into determination. Khalid looked at the battlefield with a commander's eye. The Byzantines were arrogant in their numbers, so Khalid devised a brilliant plan. Throughout the day, he rotated the Muslim soldiers. Front lines moved to the back, the back lines to the front. To the Byzantines, it seemed endless waves of fresh troops were arriving. Confusion spread among their ranks. With sword in hand, Khalid led a cavalry charge. His strikes were like lightning, breaking into the enemy flanks. Dust filled the air, screams echoed, swords shattered. That day, Khalid broke 9 swords in his hand. Yet the Muslims, though few, fought like an ocean of fire. By evening, the Byzantine generals were troubled. How can 3,000 fight like 30,000? They wondered. Fear spread among their soldiers. Whispers ran through the ranks. These men do not fight like mortals. They fight as if paradise is in front of them. Khalid knew the mission was not to conquer Rome, it was to preserve the honor of Islam. Through his strategy, he saved the Muslim army from destruction. Step by step, he withdrew the army safely. without letting the Byzantines claim victory. It was not a retreat of fear, it was a retreat of wisdom. When the soldiers returned, some people in Medina mocked them. "You fled from the battlefield?" But the Prophet silenced them, saying, "No, they are not deserters. They are advancers. They will return again." The companions' honor was restored. Then the Prophet turned to Khalid ibn al-Walid. He looked at this warrior, whose leadership had saved the entire army, and he declared words that shook history. "You are Sayfullah, the sword of Allah." From that moment, Khalid carried a title that no man ever held before. Khalid ibn al-Walid would go on to fight in battle after battle. He never lost, not once. Nations trembled at his name, yet he remained humble, saying, "It is not Khalid who wins battles. It is Allah who grants victory." His legacy lives on, inspiring believers to this day, and the world remembers him forever as the Sword of Allah.